Hi everyone, welcome back to Planet J Tarot. Today's reading is a pick a pile reading to see should you apologize or not, right? Should you extend an olive branch to this person? So it's pretty simple. Pick a pile and we'll get into it. This is going to be a very blunt reading, so whoever I feel like is in the wrong, or if it's both of you or whatever, I'm gonna say that, so keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys in your reading. Bye. All right, pile number 1. We are using our modern essential tarot, or I think it's just called our essential tarot deck. That's this top row here, and then on the bottom we're using our Island Time Wellness. I've split the table here so that the energies are not getting all mixed up. So you're going to be here on the left and your person will be on the right. First things first, we're going to see how you both subjectively view the situation, and then we'll see what the reality is. Okay, so how do you subjectively view and feel about this person and this relationship? So we've got this 7 of Cups, okay, 7 of Wands in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, and for them, they have the Strength card, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, with the 5 of Swords. Okay, so I can see why you might view this person as someone who's maybe confused, or maybe says one thing and does another, or feels something but then acts different. It doesn't have to be conscious that they're doing this, but it's something that you've picked up and viewed in them. And I think something that your person has picked up and viewed in you, at least in the way that they subjectively view you, is that either you are someone who has brought obstacles, the relationship has brought obstacles to them, or just in general, like there's just constant things that they have had to deal with when it comes to this relationship. And for them, they might feel like this stems from your insecurities or your inability to speak up or stand strong or stand firm. It's something about the way that this person views you. It's not that they view you as weak. It's almost like they view you as someone that doesn't stand in their power, or doesn't authentically present themselves all the time. So it's almost like you view them as someone being wishy-washy, or not seeing things, or doing things clearly or directly. But for them, they feel like the reason why they might be acting that way, or they have to be a little bit more stealthy, or bring out their tricks and stuff, is because they feel like you don't always, I almost said you're not always honest, but it's not that I feel like they think that you're lying. I think that they feel like you're not honest about your feelings. Yeah, they feel like you're not honest about your feelings. And then for you, in terms of your feelings deep down for them, I think that a big part of you does want to kind of open up your heart and be a little bit more receptive or vulnerable with this person, maybe than you were in the past. But it's this thing that you can't shake, that unconsciously, I guess in the eyes of you, like from your perspective, it's almost like you feel there's like an unluckiness to this relationship. For some of you guys, these obstacles, right? Like if it's not that you're not a confident person, it's just that there are obstacles that keep coming up. And so I feel like there's this attitude that you have, that almost like this is how the relationship is always going to be. Like there's always something that's going to come up and kind of derail the connection. Yet you are still becoming more open. Your heart is, I think, opening up to this person again, which makes me believe that in the past that you could have been a little bit more on the defense with them, right? But in terms of them and their feelings with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, there's something about the relationship to them that they feel like is lacking not only maturity and proper reservation. That's what I'm hearing. And I think this has a lot to do with the Seven of Wands here and the Queen of Pentacles, right? I think the Queen of Pentacles is someone who's very reserved. They know how to protect themselves in an elegant way, if that makes sense. Like, they're very wise, and a lot of the time they're very well off, or they have a lot going for them, and so they do have to somewhat protect themselves, but they do it in a way where they use their mind. And I think that's what this person does. You may be with someone who has like a good job going for them, or maybe just like goals or something like that, but part of me feels like this person feels like sometimes they have to choose between what they want to do for themselves and what they want to do for you both. So something about work, or how hard this person has to work, or how much effort they have to put into like their finances or their home life right now, could be the obstacle for them. But for some reason they are applying that to you. So there's an energy, I guess, with your person where it's like, I think they do see you somewhat like in a positive light, but there's also this delusion, I think, with them where they don't know how to separate their personal problems from their problems with this relationship. And so I think that's why there's this Seven of Cups here, because the Seven of Cups is like my too many factors card, where it's like there's too many, for you, from your perspective, right? There's always something coming up with this person. And that's why I say, I think there's a part of you that wants to be more vulnerable, be more open, but then there's another part of you that's like, okay, well, what is going to come up next, right? And so now we're going to move on to the more realistic view of what's actually going on, and what's being misunderstood on both sides here. So yeah, all right, for you, you've got passion, healing heart in reverse. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. And then I like you in reverse, kisses in reverse, the golden mirror, and the mirror in reverse. Yeah, like I said, I felt like there was a little bit of like a delusional aspect to this. Okay, so what is rooted in reality here that's being misunderstood? Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. 1 sec. Just have to move something. Okay, so I think, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a way to relay this, because I'm having to flip it, right? So the way that your person views the situation is actually much different than you. First and foremost, I said earlier that your person might be viewing you, for some of you guys, your person might be viewing you as like insecure or having some things you need to work on. I kind of want to take that back. I think that your person sees you in a very, I think they see you in a very positive light, but they're actually more afraid of being vulnerable in this connection than you are. And it's interesting because I do see that on both sides there is healing that you need to do, but for different reasons. For your person, I feel that they have a history of dealing with people that love bomb them, that make them, you know, have to sit in like one-sided relationships. They may have been with people that they were very empathetic towards at one point, and then like they kind of like devalue them and all of those things. And so I feel like a big part of the reason why they're feeling like this lack of stability and like that Queen of Pentacles in reverse is very much rooted in like what they've dealt with in the past and not necessarily what you have brought to them. So there's a lot of subjectivity there on that side. But then there's another part of me, I think, that despite this person's back and forth, or, you know, kind of making you feel one thing or not know what to think about them, like sort of nature, you still have a lot of passion for them. And this card, I want you to recognize here that this also says equally. So what's rooted in reality is that you both equally have the same amount of like intensity and feelings, attraction, passion, and, you know, like positive feelings towards one another. It's not a matter of who cares more, who cares less, or anything like that. It's more so a matter of like whose trauma is getting in the way of the relationship at this point. So that Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which you guys feel like is the world working against you, it's not. It's actually you guys working against each other. Because it just doesn't make sense to have the passion and the I like you here unless there's like something else going on. And what I feel like is going on is the fact that you want to be open to a connection, you want to be open to this person, but yet you're not completely healed, and it's similar to them. And this could be something that you both have like spoken about. You both might have spoken to each other about past relationships. I know that a lot of you guys might be watching this not for love, so that's why I'm trying to keep it pretty like general from that perspective. So thinking of this in terms of like just you and another person, romantic or platonic, there's a lot of like pain, I think, on your side from dealing with people that might have suffered from addiction, suffered from just being reckless, like doing things that recklessly fuck up like good things in their life. So you may have been in a position quite often with kind of like this Queen of Pentacles, honestly, where I think you take care of people almost to a point where it's like you drain yourself. And so I think the vulnerability for you is not, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you actually have feelings for this person, but whether or not you are feeling safe enough to show them. And because there are so many things that keep coming up, and in your perspective is because this person can't get a handle on the so many factors, you're starting to feel like the reason why you are struggling to be vulnerable is because you don't like them. And it's not that you don't like them, it's that you don't like what is happening. So there's a big difference there. And then I think for a lot of you guys, if you are looking at this in terms of romance, there's so much passion and chemistry and like feelings for one another, yet I think the romantic parts of it fall through. Like you may say nice words, but it's like something about like the dates don't go well, or every time you are having a good time, something happens and fucks it up. So that's why I say I think that you are questioning your feelings, but it's not your feelings at all. It's whether or not you like this person in the way that they deal with conflict, in the way that they deal with these so many factors. And then for them, well, they have kisses in reverse here with the golden mirror and the mirror in reverse. So what's rooted in reality here in terms of perspective, I think this person is actually picking up on you pulling away. So I think for a lot of you guys, you may have actually been very like caring and kind and open and nurturing to this person, and then kind of like withdrew or drew that energy back. They definitely feel that and have noticed it. But the problem is that because of what this person has gone through, right? Because they have gone through situations with people that have given them a lot of love and then taken away like very quickly, it makes me feel like both of you guys are not, like, they're not 100% delusional for feeling like it, right? Because I do feel like that is what you did. Like, not in a negative way. I'm not saying that you've acted in a narcissistic way with this person, but it's like I said, you both have triggered each other in a situation. This is all about what's being miscommunicated and what's being misunderstood, right? So sometimes we get in a similar situation and we read the situation the same way as like what happened the first time you experienced it, but that's not necessarily the case, right? So this person in the past, they did deal with one-sided relationships. They did deal with kind of like a relationships where the passion was in reverse. One person liked the other person or cared for the other person more. So they are right to question that, and even to feel like that could possibly be happening right now, because they are failing to see how their own actions or their own way of viewing you in this situation has caused them to act like the Seven of Cups. I do think you're viewing them the right way in terms of like the Seven of Cups, but not for the, it's like right but wrong. Because you're viewing them as, oh, they probably are wishy-washy with their feelings about me. It's not about you. It's about the relationship. Both of you guys like each other, have good feelings for each other, but you question the relationship. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with this vulnerability and kind of feeling like things are just going to go fucked up anyways. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy and like self-sabotage almost for both of you guys. But what I'm also seeing here for them with the mirror in reverse and the Five of Swords, The mirror in the reverse talks about showing each other like the sides of yourself that you wouldn't see like without that person there. So it's I'm kind of like curious, maybe you guys have like opposite placements, like one could be a Pisces, one could be a Virgo, or one could be a Taurus and one could be a Scorpio, or have placements like that, because that sort of dynamic is usually what happens here. It's almost like when you go through a shitty relationship and then you meet someone that's very similar to you but also completely different, and then they show you parts of yourself that you didn't want to see. That's what this mirror in reverse is. And if it's not that you didn't want to see it, when you read the card, it says reflecting on our wounds and introspection, but it also has the Five of Swords here. So it's like when you're in a Five of Swords energy, you're not being introspective, you're being, it's like when you're listening to respond sort of thing, kind of defensive without realizing that you're being defensive, because in your mind you're telling yourself that it's being protective instead of defensive, right? And I think I said that earlier, where this person has had to protect themselves before, so they feel like they're protecting themselves with the way that they act, but they're actually being defensive. And it's because they're failing to recognize that this Five of Swords for their actions is actually rooted in this golden mirror past and not anything to do with your actual feelings for them, right? And so it's just, I would say that both of you guys probably owe each other an apology, because there's this like energy of, okay, this person triggered me, so I'm gonna pull back, instead of this person made me uncomfortable, I didn't like it, but I'm healed enough to communicate that and move forward, right? It's almost like if you were to continue on the path and in the way that you're going now, it would like make this person believe that it would tell this person everything that they thought was happening, right? Like, oh, they were just love bombing, or they had a lot of feelings for me but then they went away, or, you know, it would reaffirm to this person basically that they can never do shit right in love. And it's very heavy, right? That's the Strength card here. I think that's what the Strength card is here. That feels very heavy, right, to say, because that's not your responsibility, but I think that's what happened in the situation. And so now I'm going to get you guys some advice. The answer to the question of should you apologize, I think you should, but I also think that you should expect for this person to apologize to you as well. Like, for example, if you were to go to this person and say, hey, this is how I felt, and you know, I probably handled it this way, I'm not sure how it made you feel, if I did hurt you, I apologize. If you said it that way and they didn't come back and say, you know what, that makes a lot of sense because I did this because of that, and so I can see why you might have taken it that way, and I'm sorry for that as well. Like, if it doesn't become a reciprocal thing, I think you should leave it alone, because this is a situation where I honestly feel that it's just both of you have your own issues that have just clashed in this particular instance. Now the advice for you, and these cards, these oracle cards that I pulled, like the blind pull for them, were supposed to be only for, like, for example, like if one or the other had to apologize, but for this reading I think you both do need to, so I'm going to separate these two. So for you, your advice is look deep within your heart and you'll feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. So this is actually a message from your person telling you that they do have feelings for you. They do, they might even love you. For some of you guys, this might be very early, I don't know, but they really, really, really appreciate you. I don't think they don't, you know, like they value you. They really see you in the most positive light, and I think they just might have messed up, you know. And for them, their advice is, oh yeah, like I said, they're stuck in their past, and that's what their advice is the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. So yeah, that's the advice for them, is to kind of let go of this this mindset where they're going to be devalued and told that they're doing something wrong anyway, so that and then they end up doing the wrong thing out of defense without realizing it. So it's almost like I feel like you should apologize, because in apologizing, it would be able to facilitate a conversation with this person to let them know, hey, I think the way that you did this is actually, like, you know, maybe a response to something you've dealt with in the past that I don't think was fair to me. So it would give you an opportunity to show them. And you have to take this with a grain of salt, right? Because if this is somebody who did something like very deliberately bad, right? Like, everyone's situation is different. I wouldn't tell you to go back to someone that has, like, you know, really, really, really fucked you over. But if this was just simple, like, misunderstanding sort of thing, I do think, you know, kind of just like putting those walls down, as you've been trying to do already, would actually in some way facilitate you being able to heal this kind of brokenhearted feeling that you felt when this happened, because a lot of it was rooted in misunderstanding, and simply misunderstanding. Okay, so the next advice here, I guess, will be for you both, is work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. Yeah, like I said, I think both of you guys have, you know, this fear possibly that, you know, maybe this isn't going to work out, or blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're thinking this. Maybe they actually feel this way. Maybe they're lying about this. Scorpio can be quite a paranoid sign sometimes, and try to really follow their intuition here. So I think a lot of you deep down know that this is just problems that I said earlier that need to be worked through, like obstacles that need to be worked through, not necessarily saying fuck it all together. And then ultimately, Spirit is also telling you there's no need to worry. Again, there's no need to worry, because you can work through the problems, but you have to start with an honest and vulnerable conversation. So yeah, I hope you guys like this reading. Thank you so much for being here. I actually really enjoyed giving this one. I think it was sweet to see how you both are just kind of reading the situation wrong. You might make each other like very nervous and just do the wrong thing sometimes, because I think for a lot of you guys this may be a new relationship or a new friendship or whatever the case is. And yeah, Spirit's saying don't worry, just try to work it out, and you'll know based off of how you approach this person. I've now told you how to approach them, right? So if you approach them like that and they respond still defensive and whatever, you don't need to give them a third chance, right? Because it seems like there's already a second chance. So you don't need to give them a third chance. You're kind of going to come towards them with the mirror, but in a very light and gentle way, like, hey, maybe you should look in this. And if they grab it and apologize, right, keep going. But I feel like if they start to get defensive and in that Five of Swords energy again, get the issue. Okay, thank you. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to Planet J. And if you're new here, thank you. Love you. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to comment, subscribe if it resonates. I really appreciate you guys being here. Today we're going to look at you and the relationship you have between, you know, the person you were thinking about when you clicked on this reading. Yeah, let's just get into it. We're going to see how you both think and feel towards one another, the way you act. But that'll be like a subjective view of how you each view one another, and then we'll dive deeper into the reality of the situation and like what's being misunderstood here, right? So the top here is subjectivity and the bottom is the reality. So you're going to be here on the left and they'll be on the right. Without further ado, let's get into the reading. Don't forget to hit all the links in the description box below. So let's get started. First card for you, Page of Cups. Okay, Page of Cups with the Ace of Wands in reverse. And the Two of Cups. You know what's crazy is I heard Two of Cups right before I started this reading and it came out for you. Anyway, Strength card. Pile 1 had the Strength card right here, but it was actually in reverse. So maybe you guys have some similar messages there if you were drawn to both piles. Two of Wands. Okay, so both have 2s here. Okay, and then Ten of Pentacles. Okay. So what is the subjective state of this relationship according to you and your person? The way that you view your person is this Page of Cups energy. So they could be someone that is actually, hold on, let me come over here. They could be someone that is very lighthearted. They could actually be very loving and like charming towards you. They may be kind of like a kid at heart. They seem like the type of person that, at least in your eyes, right, wears their heart on their sleeve. They could just be a little bit more emotional or vulnerable outwardly than you are, and that's why you say that, right? Because, you know, according to them, they might say that there's something completely different, right? Because this is just simply your subjective view of them. But I do think that you see them with this Page of Cups energy. They could have been the one that kind of initiated the start of this relationship or whatever. You know, I'm trying to keep this pretty general. It doesn't have to be, but I am getting the feeling that for those of you that are watching this for a love interest, that they're the one that initiated this, confessed their feelings towards you first or whatever it is. And I say that because in terms of your feelings here, you do have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So I feel like there's a lot of passion, attraction there, but you're not really acting on them. or you may just feel like you're a bit just not motivated or not ready to act on those feelings just yet. Like there's something kind of holding you back, but the feelings are there, and I do think that they're very strong, and you're just kind of keeping them to yourself, or not showing them all as much as this person would, at least. But ultimately, towards the way that you move towards this person, your attitude and your behaviors towards this person is actually very light and sweet. I mean, you have the Two of Cups here. I think you and this person might actually get along very well, or you try really hard to make things work with them, despite, whatever state the relationship is in right now. I think in general, though, you are pretty open to them, and you have very sweet feelings towards them. They might have like a soft spot in your heart. You may see them as like kind of like a little bit of a kid, but like in a good way. This is interesting. Some of you guys might actually be watching this for a child or about a child. And if you're watching this about your child, I think that you view yourself, at least, right? Because this is subjective to the way that you view this. So in your eyes, this is the type of person they are. You have a lot of feelings for them, but you're not exactly motivated to 100% act on them at this moment. But you also view yourself as being pretty open and loving towards this person. Now for them, the way that they view you, oh my God. They think that you are fucking hot shit. Like, they think you're confident. They think that you're resilient. They think you're brave and courageous. They think that you are a very authentic and loyal person. Okay? And I think that they admire you for those qualities. Now, in terms of their feelings with the Two of Wands, I think there's a part of them that is hoping to make some sort of decision here, hoping to make some sort of take some action here, but it's almost like in their mind or in their heart, they feel like it could go either way here. But ultimately, towards their actions or in their actions and in their mind, okay? Like I said, I have to keep saying this is subjective because we haven't gotten to the reality of the situation yet. And part of me is telling me that there is going to be some discrepancies there. But you can see from this person's perspective, though, that they think that they are moving towards a future with you. Like, they want to have you in their life. They want, some of you guys, if this is romantic or if they just see you as like a really, really great friend, like they would want you in their life. They would want to be able to consider you family. They would want to, I see some pets here. They might want to like have pets with you or whatever it is. They just see you in a very beautiful, positive light. And with the Ten of Pentacles, though, there's this energy of they're trying to build towards somewhat of a future with you. And it seems like for you, your energy is more so trying to see if you guys work, if you're compatible. So it does kind of seem like you're on separate pages in regards to what step of the relationship you're at. But it's interesting because you have the Ace of Wands and they have the Two of Wands. So yeah, you're just at different stages, right? With the Two of Wands, it's like you kind of have an idea of what you want. They could just be like in a planning stage, but with the Ace of Wands in reverse, it's showing me that you're not really doing a whole hell of a lot of planning, simply because where your actions and your attitude is like more geared towards right now is just getting to know this person, or just getting to know them in a different light, in the context of whatever your relationship is. Now we're going to look at the reality of the situation now, which could be different. So you have seduction in reverse. Okay. Kisses and healthy choices. Yeah. See, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and for them, photograph in reverse, love, and clock in reverse. Okay. So the reality of the situation that is being misunderstood here. Your person feels like, let me just say this right now. Your person looks at your socials. If you are younger and you have like socials that this person has, they look at them. If they've taken a picture with you or done something with you, like went out with you, whatever, they think about it all the time. And I think that when they get in that kind of like nostalgic energy with you. It's almost like they don't want to be there. They try to avoid it. And I think that's what the Two of Wands is like, this isn't really someone who likes to sit in negative feelings. I think they'd rather do something about them. And for you, you don't operate that way. With the Ace of Wands in reverse, it tells me that you're not someone that acts solely off of attraction and intensity. And I say that because you have seduction in reverse. So I think that you find this person very attractive physically, especially if this is like romantic. And if this isn't romantic, you may see this person as someone that has a lot of friends, that knows how to network, that is very well liked, might have a lot of suitors actually, but you might actually see them as someone who's not very committal. You might be afraid that they are just looking for like a good time and not a long time. And that's what I say, that's what I mean when I say this is definite, that's a discrepancy here, because what I told you before I flipped these over was that this person is trying to build a future with you. And so I think for you, it's the intensity of your attraction and feelings for each other that is derailing you, like making you question, oh, is this person just trying to hook up with me? Oh, is this person dealing with someone else? Or are they just trying to keep things light? Or if it's not romantic, is this person just kind of stringing me along? Do they actually want to work with me? Do they actually see me as a good friend? Or are they just whatever? You know what I mean? I think for you, you're still trying to read this person. And I think the reason why you can't is because they don't sit still. And I think, honestly, the only reason why your relationship has any potential is because they're the type of person that doesn't sit back and let things pass them by. Because for you, with the Ace of Wands, I mean, I already know that you have a lot of feelings, but you don't act on them the same way that this person does. You are someone who is unconditionally loving and affectionate towards this person 100%. I think a lot of you guys may be afraid because you're getting very strong feelings for them like early on, or if this is like not a new relationship, when you first met them, you felt a very strong attraction to them. Like, for example, I have a feeling that I call green, and I've gotten it when I met people that were going to be super important to me. Like, I've gotten it with like exes when I first met them, and like best friends that I have been friends with for 10 years, you know. And so I feel like some of you guys might have experienced that when you met them, actually, like a very intense pull towards them, and you're trying to figure out why, and you can't figure out the why, and that's why you have the Ace of Wands in reverse. And I think the reason why is because for you guys, you may have had relationships before or friendships before or whatever, where it was just very casual, or it was a lot of fun, but you know, at the end of the day, they weren't really someone you could depend on. But with the Ten of Pentacles there, I do feel like this person wants to be somewhat of a like provider for you, someone that can do things for you and build a future with you. So if you're wondering if that is the case, yes, they do want to be that for you. I think that's just what you're not seeing, because you're still trying to figure out where all of this feeling is coming from. Whereas this person, they have already moved past the Ace of Wands stage, where it's like they know their feelings, they know where they're coming from and all of that, and they're just trying to act on them, right? So you're just on two separate pages of the same book. And I think for you, the reason why you move slower is because it's really important for you to make healthy choices in relationships. It's really important for you to feel like you are getting involved with someone that is compatible with you, that has the same values and interests as you, someone that would complement you, someone that would understand your love languages. I think that might just be the difference here, that you guys might have one or two love languages that are different, right? Because we have our primary and then we have a secondary, and some people even have like a third love language. So I feel like you have one that might be the same, but then there's a disconnect, because this person seems to be someone that likes to spend a lot of quality time together, and you might unknowingly need more verbal affirmations or reassurance than you acknowledge. And I think that's why the Ace of Wands is in reverse here. The reason why I say that is because we have Pentacles, we have Wands, and we have Cups, but we don't have any Swords here. That's the only thing that's missing. And so I feel like, almost like for you, if you got more verbal clarity from this person, that things would be a little bit better. But the problem is that that's not their love language. That's not how they work. So simply, I think that they just need to understand how you work more. I think for a lot of you guys, this could be something new, and that's why I say you're still at that Two of Cups this is very sweet, let's see how it goes sort of energy. Trying to just make healthy choices and make sure that you're getting involved with someone that doesn't take away from how much you care and love yourself and how happy you could be alone, right? And then for them, they have love here underneath the Two of Wands for their feelings. Sorry, give me 1 second. So they have love here underneath the Two of Wands here for their feelings. And it talks a lot about being very affectionate and having a lot of attraction towards someone, wanting to be one with them, and passion, unconditional love. And so deep down, this person, what is true and you don't have to question is that they actually love you already. They actually view you in the most positive light and may have already decided on a future with you, even though you're still unsure. And I say that because, I mean, for them with the Ten of Pentacles and the clock in reverse, it's like this person doesn't want to waste any fucking time. They don't want to waste time. They don't need time to think about it. They don't need to process anything. They feel very sure about you. And so, I don't know what happened here, but I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think it's them. I think it might be you. I think it might be you, just simply because you're not on the same page as them. Like, this person is ahead of you in terms of how sure they are about you. So I can't really see with this energy here, like, why they would need to apologize to you. Not to say that they didn't do anything, but like, you know? So with that being said, we're gonna get you some advice. What's the advice for you and how to approach this person if you were to kind of like go towards them? I get the feeling that for some of you guys, this isn't like a big blow up that happened. It's just like something small, like a blip, right? So when I say should you apologize, like I don't think you need to like get on your knees and like beg this person back. I hope that's not the situation. None of you guys should ever get into a point where you have to like degrade yourself or, you know, put yourself in a lower position to make someone love you. Don't do that. But if this was just whatever, I would say reach out, you know, because the advice and what you need to understand is that there's a transformation on the brink here of this relationship, because the relationship that you have with one another is about to deepen, because love conquers and transforms all things. And we already know here that this person has a lot of love for you. This person is willing to kind of like put themselves on their line and express their love and their feelings for you because they see something really, they see a really bright future with you, that they don't want to let go to waste. And more advice here says, meditate and contemplate new moon in Pisces. So this is all about taking a step back, right? And just asking yourself, how do I feel about this person? Similar to pile 1, where it's like, it wasn't a question of how do I feel about this person, but how do I feel about the relationship? But it's almost like for you, you need to definitively tell yourself whether or not you are ready to dedicate yourself to figuring things out with this person, because they have already done that. So it's almost like I just feel like you need to catch up in regards to where you're at with this. Right. Because someone that's dedicated will, regardless, you know, no matter what, always be willing to fix things, to make a decision that will move you guys towards that Ten of Pentacles. But because you're not there yet and the Ace of Wands is in reverse, that's making me believe that your hesitancy may contribute a little bit. So the last advice for you here is trust. Yeah, trust this relationship. Kind of just like let your guard down. Spirit wouldn't lead you wrong. Like, Spirit wouldn't give you this trust card if this wasn't someone that you could trust, if this wasn't someone that you know, wanted something with you and saw something good in you. And I'm gonna be honest here, I just really like the cards that have come out here. I think they're really favorable, and I'm actually kind of nervous to see what comes out in the next pile, because we don't have that many of my favorite cards here left. So yeah, the advice here I think would just be kind of just go towards this person, let them know that you may take a little bit longer than they do, and just having like an honest conversation. I'm getting for a lot of you guys, this isn't necessarily like an apology because you did something wrong, but just simply letting this person know where your head is at. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you next time, pile 2. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Welcome back to Planet J Tarot. If you're new here, thank you for visiting. I appreciate you clicking on this video and watching this with me. And if you're coming back, oh my god, I love you. Thank you for coming back. Now, we're going to look at your relationship. We're going to look at the subjective versus the reality here. So how you both subjectively view each other and the way that you show up for each other in this relationship. But then we're going to see what the truth of the matter is here on the bottom. So we're going to be using our Modern Witch Tarot to start off, and then we're moving down to our Island Time Wellness, and we use a couple of different love oracle decks to get you some advice later. So don't forget to hit all the links in the description box below, and without further ado, let's look at you and the person you were thinking about when you clicked on this reading. Whew, deep breaths. You are going to be here on the left and they're going to be here on the right. All right, let's go. So first card you have is, okay, actually I am going to pull one more for you just because this is a special card in this deck. It's like the 10 of Swords, but not exactly. So I'm gonna pull one more. I already have like when this card comes out, I have something in mind for it. Like I already have my interpretation, but I'm gonna add one more. Okay, 6 of Swords. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Okay, cool. So we got 6 of Swords. What else? Okay, King of Wands in reverse, and the King of Swords. Wow. Oh. Okay. And then Judgment. Interesting. Judgment. Okay. The Sun. Haha. Okay. The Sun. And what else? 9 of Cups. Cool. Okay. So first things first. The way that you view your person is like they're the type of person to say, no, everything's fine. Everything is okay. Even if it's really not. Like this is your subjective view of them. But at the same time, you also view them as someone who could possibly be open to fixing things with you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like some people come on here and they're watching this about someone who they can't get a read on, or they're not sure if they would be open to, accepting an apology or giving them an apology. Like they're just completely unsure. I don't feel like that's the case for you, pile 3. I feel like you know that this is someone who does believe in second chances, or someone who does believe in love or things working out. They seem to be someone who's just very optimistic. But at the same time, I do want to say that, at least from your subjective view, that this person isn't always like this. I think deep down there are some feelings that you have where it's like sometimes you can see glimpses of this person maybe being a bit controlling, or like a my way or the highway, maybe even sometimes like a bit inconsiderate. And so that's where the confusion comes in, because they're always willing to fix problems, but at the same time, deep down, it's like a part of you, I think, that recognizes that the problems are there because of them. So there's like a difficulty there. But ultimately, your attitude towards them is to try and see things from a logical perspective, to try and see things like almost like if you were to tell this story, or if your best friend were to tell you the story about like what happened between you and them, you would want to like handle it in a way that you would tell your best friend to handle it, right? So you're trying to view things from an objective way instead of subjective. And it's interesting because this is the subjective view of this. So I do think that you try to keep your head on, you try to keep your head very leveled, but at the same time, part of me feels like that's just because you're kind of matching this person's energy in your mind. In your mind, this person can come up sometimes as King of Wands in reverse, and so it's almost like as a response you have to go into this King of Swords, because if you don't, then it would be two people that are acting off of whatever those feelings are or whatever. Now, in terms of them, the way that they view you, I think they view you as someone who has a very like a very good judge of character, someone who does things in extremes, though. Like you're an all or nothing sort of person, so you're either giving someone all your love or you're giving them none of it. Yeah, that's how they view you. They also view you as someone whose opinion and whose words like weigh very heavy on them. Like and I think it's true for them to kind of feel that way, because you are kind of showing up with the King of Swords energy here, which is someone who's like high authority, really someone that's not going to really like make a fool out of themselves, if that makes sense. And so it's almost like I feel like this person tightens up around you. Like they feel like they need to maybe be a bit more matured than they naturally are. The Sun card is a card of like children and happiness, optimism, and just kind of like going with the flow, being very like optimistic and high spirits sort of energy. And that is this person's feelings towards you and towards this connection. They are very happy with you. They are very happy with how they feel towards you, at least in their mind, right? Subjectively, this is how they view things. And then with this Nine of Cups, I think now this is the kicker, right? Because the Nine of Cups is a card that shows you being happy enough on your own to be able to dream healthily about like a connection with another person, or just being happy enough and loving yourself enough to have the audacity to dream and want good shit for yourself. And so it's like, I think this person is actually really sweet in the sense where it's like they welcome love, they welcome friends, they welcome anything that like makes them feel good. But you can see how welcoming anything that makes you feel good might be like kind of harmful. So I do think that's something that you've seen in them, almost like you may question the maturity of this person and if they're on the same level as you, right? So that's the subjective view though, not necessarily the reality. We're going to look at the reality of the situation now. So first things first, we have the Hammer in reverse. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then we have Talking in reverse. Yeah. Okay. And Cupid's arrow in reverse. Okay. And for them, the snake. Okay. Girl with the snake in reverse. And what else? Hand of Cards in reverse. Okay, here's what I want to say. What I want to say is that your person, I think when they first met you, thought you were a snake. They thought they had to not show all of their cards at first. If they didn't think you were a snake, they may have just thought, I need to pull back a little bit. I need to be more cautious. But I think now they know and they're seeing that it is actually not you, but the people around this connection. And I say that because I'm looking at this Judgment card here. I'm looking at this person's feelings for you and their actions towards you in a subjective realm. So like kind of like unconscious versus conscious. And what I'm seeing, and it's kind of crazy that we got the snake and girl with the snake in the positions that they're in, because this is the part of the reading where we talk about what's being misconstrued and what's not being seen clearly. And so in the beginning, this person didn't see it clearly. And I think this is what I mean when I say you come off with this King of Swords energy, right? So you come off as someone who tries to be very objective, very clear. You may speak very like elegantly, eloquently, just always get your point across in almost like a powerful way. And I think that's why they have the Judgment and the Snake card here, because part of them is like, is this person, they might have thought like, does this person think they're better than me? Does this person kind of just see me as like less than, like they're just going to string me along? I think they were just trying to figure out the best way to characterize you based off of like what you were giving them, which is kind of this King of Swords hard exterior. The King of Swords is actually a card sometimes of like military people, so you may come off like kind of very like oh, we have to be on time, we have to do it like this, so you guys just might have different personalities in that way, but it's possible that they've dealt with someone similar to that energy, and that's why they had this like perception. And I do think they did. I do think for a split second, maybe even a split second, I don't think this lasted very long, but this person may have questioned if your cleverness was going to be used against them. Something about like whether or not you were going to use words against them, or I just heard hold them accountable. So that's interesting. Almost like this person was wondering if you would call them out. But the fact that they still stuck around makes me believe that they actually value that in you. They actually think that that's a really sweet thing about you, is how honest you are and how perceptive you are. Okay, and so with the sun and the snake, or the girl with the snake in reverse here, in terms of their feelings, very quickly, this person lost that view of you. Like it went out the window, and they recognized, no, this isn't someone who's like, going to take advantage of my empathy, or going to be, negative with me, or try to infringe on my boundaries, or use me, or anything like that, charm me and then let me go, right? Because the King of Swords is actually, as firm and whatever as they are very charming, right? They are very attractive to a lot of people because of how strong their mind is. And I think this person realized that the strength of your mind is actually the best part about you, and like not something that they need to be fearful of. And that's why the sun came out, because they see it actually in a very positive light, and in some way, shape, or form, part of your energy brings out this person's inner child. That's how they feel. I feel like that's a very fresh, refreshing energy for them, because something is telling me that in the past they had the opposite. In the past, they probably had like a relationship where there was the moon card there. It was like constantly worrying about whether or not this person like had like good feelings towards them, or whatever the case is. And so that's what led them to get to this point of Nine of Cups, where they love themselves enough to put this hand of cards in the reverse position, which is the best thing, I think, in a relationship. I don't think that anybody should go into a relationship feeling like they need to hide their intentions, not show their hand, take a gamble, or risk too much. And this person recognizes that. In this reality, they understand that the best way to move towards you is not by doing things that are risky or reckless, but to admit, this is what I want, and stand on it. Because something about this person is making me feel like they are so much more comfortable sharing their positive feelings with other people than you are. But the flip side of that, in the subjective view of them, which I think is in some way true, is that when things are not going right, or this person is nervous or whatever, they may not let on to that. But your perceptive nature can tell. And I think sometimes when they do get in that energy, they do start to act like the King of Wands in reverse. And that's why you haven't let down the sword yet. That's why you haven't put the sword down and just been more vulnerable. Okay? The reality of the situation here, in terms of you, though, is that I do think that you view this person as someone that doesn't like to sabotage, like, a good thing. They don't like to have to constantly rebuild relationships. I do think that they're someone who has done the inner work instead of still working on themselves. Part of you... Everything is fine. Six of Swords with the hammer. The way that you view this person, I think, is actually really spot on, to be honest. Because the Six of Swords is the energy of being willing to fix something, being willing to move something to like calmer waters, to bring emotions back down to a neutral level, to see things subjectively, which is what you, or objectively, which is what you try to do. And I think that's why you're attracted to them. But there's also an energy of maybe seeing that this person, when things don't go right, they just act. Like they just immediately try to fix it instead of talking about it. And so that could be a discrepancy or like an incompatibility between you both, is because I think for you, you need to hear where this person's headspace is at, but they don't really seem like someone that operates in that sort of energy, because they have the Sun card here, which is, like I said, like the inner child, and the inner child just likes to do, instead of like having to sit down for 30 minutes with someone and just like talk it out. And so I feel like that's why in reality here, for the way that you feel deep down, that there's this talking card in reverse here. Sometimes I think this person's inability to explain themselves to you makes you feel like they're being controlling or manipulative or having ulterior motives with you. Like you wish that this person, I think, could just tell you straight up the way that you are, but they just don't operate like that. And so there is sort of this energy where I feel like deep down you may be like constantly waiting for this person to say more or for them to reach out and explain themselves. But that's just not who they are. And Spirit is saying that you need to understand that that is the reality of the situation. I feel like I'm going to pull some cards here because it's just like, I feel like the way that things got off, like maybe things got off on the wrong foot, and that's kind of like clouding the direction of the relationship. So I'm gonna get some clarity here. And then I'm gonna get some messages and some advice. I didn't do this for the other piles, but I am going to just say fuck it and do it with y'all because I think you need a little bit more. The cards are definitely showing that both of you guys have more to say. More to say, or more that you want to hear. So what is this King of Wands in reverse in regards to your feelings and how you feel like this person shows up? Tell me more about the King of Wands in reverse. Why is the King of Wands in reverse? What is this person's defense when they start to feel like things aren't going the way the way that they would want them to? Damn, all these cards are like slipping out. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Ace of Swords in reverse. Like I said, they stop talking. They stop communicating. When this person gets nervous or overwhelmed, I feel like they don't say shit. They don't say anything, actually. This person, it's like they get more confused when things don't go the way that they saw them because they're generally a very optimistic person. They may have some sort of like spirituality to them or where they feel like they can feel when things are going good. And so when they end up going bad, it confuses the fuck out of them. It leaves them speechless. And it may come off that they're being dishonest, but I think it's actually just confusion. And they may even get a bit like self-destructive when they're like that because they're just genuinely so confused by how things took that turn, and they start rethinking things so much that they end up doing something that comes off like really gross, honestly, or not gross, but just like off-putting with the King of Wands in reverse, because the King of Wands is someone who's generally very charming and like liked and attractive to everyone, but when it's in reverse, it's like someone that's doing things that just is like objectively like unattractive. So that's the problem, is that when this person gets nervous, they start fucking up, and you're not like that. You have the King of Swords energy where it's like they would never dare, right? I mean, King energy in general is like, I'm not going to let someone see me sweat sort of energy, and so I think that's why that's coming up. Now for Cupid's arrow in reverse, I'm not surprised that this is coming out for the reality of the situation in terms of how you're actually showing up, because I'm sorry, but the King of Swords is just not someone that comes off as having like faith in love for no reason, like blind faith in love. In fact, they are more hesitant, or just like pull back a little bit more before completely letting go. And so Spirit is saying that you should be aware of that in your own energy as well. I also wanted to clarify this Cupid's arrow in reverse because it's like, do you have feelings or do you not? We have Justice here. Yeah, again, this is the Libra card, and King of Swords is also my Libra card. You might have Libra placements, but you don't have to. But generally, it's because you're trying to be fair. You're trying to honestly, I feel like you guys are just playing it safe. You might not see it that way, but I think you're playing it too safe for the type of person this is. Like, this isn't someone that plays it safe. This isn't someone that, like, hides their emotions and pretends that they're not there or pushes them on the back burner. They're actually very motivated by their emotions in what they truly want and their desires. And so I think you just need to kind of like take a page out of their book if this is a relationship that is important to you. Now I'm going to clarify here, why does this person have the snake? I feel like this is more so their first impression of you. But can you clarify? What is this snake card here? This is also competition. King of Swords! They see you exactly how you're coming off, okay? I want you to know that right now. For their first impression of you is actually spot fucking on, because this is how you act with them. You do act like, you need to have mental clarity. You're very firm on the decisions you make. You're very intellectual. You use your head over your heart. You have a lot of integrity, but you're also serious and like have high standards, and sometimes may appear like you have a stick up your ass. And that's why. Okay, I feel like this person is trying to bring out a lighter side of you, but It's not happening. Now, let me get one card, just one card to what is this competition or the snakes that are trying to get in on this relationship? Part of me feels like there is something that your person is very aware of in terms of there being outside or third party influences here. Not saying that any of you is involved with another person, but more so there could be people that just don't want to see this relationship work. Who are they? Yeah, sick bitches. The people that don't want to see this relationship work, they are prisons to their own thoughts. They are the type of people that, are just very negative, that keep up a victim mentality. These are people that are not stable, negative Nellies. You'll know who they are because they always have something to say. You probably already know who I'm talking about right now because they seem like they're haters. And they may not say outright it's because they're insecure, they feel trapped in their own life, but that's the reason why. Okay, so if you're wondering, who could possibly be wanting something to not work out between me and this person, you already know who they are. I promise you, they've probably already said something to you about it, and if they haven't said anything to you, they've said it to them. I think the Ace of Swords in reverse is also the fact that this person probably didn't tell you that right away. They may have told you at some point, but I don't feel like this is something that they told you right when it happened, because they know how you think and they know that you would have left immediately. So there is this energy of maybe sometimes this person does feel like they have to kind of withhold because of the way that you react sometimes. And it's not that you react like flying off the handle. You actually are very stoic, but you will withdraw and you will put that sword back down. And it's like this person feels like they already have to take a really long time to get you to just let it go. You know what I mean? So that being said, should you apologize? This is a bit difficult for me because what I'm seeing here is two people that handle conflict very differently. This is what I wanted to do before we got here. I wanted to get some channel messages. What I was about to say before I pulled these cards was that I'm still trying to figure out your feelings for this person, and I almost feel like you are too, because you're so focused on the more technical aspects that have shown up here, as opposed to taking that time to really ask yourself how you feel. So there's this energy of priorities being different when a relationship starts or when a relationship is going. Like somebody is more focused on asking themselves how they feel and if this is still what I want, and the other person is more focused on asking themselves, does this make sense? Is this going to bring me trouble, or is this going to make me feel more calm? I think for you, King of Swords, you've been stuck in that energy for so long that you're looking for someone that you can let your guard down around and that you can trust. And so when this person starts doing this, you feel like you can't trust them. But what comes off to them is almost like you feel like you're better than them. So there's a disconnect there. All right, so what do you want to say to them? What are your feelings for them? I couldn't let you get close to me. Yeah, like I said, this person is trying so hard to get you to put that sword down, and you just haven't yet. Okay, what else? But I feel like almost like this isn't something that they didn't know about you, right? Like, I almost feel like anybody that meets you knows that you're not somebody that wears your heart on your shoulder or that opens up very quickly. So I almost, it's like, it's not fair of this person to, kind of like push you into a corner and expect for you to move faster than that. But at the same time, you do need to ask yourself whether or not you are not opening up because you don't like them like that, or you don't love them the way that they love you, or if it's simply because you have defenses. So what else do you want to say to them? Let's get one more, and then I guess I'll give you some messages for them, because it's almost like you are looking for more honest answers for how they feel about you, and I'm gonna let you know. So if you guys are still here, thank you so much for watching. This is a lot longer than the other one, so sorry if you guys don't like long readings, but okay. So 3 things that you each want to say to one another, and then I will say who needs to apologize and give you some advice on how to approach them next. Bottom of the deck for both of you, I don't react when people mention you. Okay. feel like that's more so your energy than them, because this person seems to be very excitable, like almost like if someone mentioned you, they would like jump up and down, like they love the idea, the thought of you. So what do you want to say to them? So many things remind me of you. Aww. Okay, and what else? I hope that you can forgive me one day. Yeah. Okay, and what do they want to say to you? How do they feel? I hide behind material things. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's like this person isn't the type of person to say like, oh my god, everything is not going right for me right now. You know, they try to be very optimistic, but you see through that. But they also want you to know, like, this person is very vulnerable with you in the sense where it's like they want you to know that, they want you to know their defenses. They want you to know what they're struggling with. They want to be honest about that, but they need you to give them a space to do that. Like, you know, just be a little bit more softer with them, I feel like. And I left when I saw you with someone. Ooh, that was that King of Wands in reverse. I think deep down, this person may sometimes get a bit jealous or start to question, like, if you would rather be spending time with another person, even if this is platonic. Like, you know, some people get like that with their friends, where they're like, damn, I wonder if like they have a better friendship with them, or you know what I mean? Like, they just start, I think this person actually overthinks quite a lot. They just don't say it. But I also feel like they want you so bad that it's like the idea of this competition, like those snakes or whatever that are coming out of the grass, actually really bothers them, and it causes them to act like that Ace of Swords in reverse, which is really what you don't like, because you are so dependent on your sword, almost. And finally, what else do they want to say? You and I were too young. So they might think that this was just like a timing thing for a lot of you guys. Okay, now let's get some advice on who should apologize. I'm just gonna be blunt with you guys. I think you should apologize. I don't really see this person doing anything but being open and vulnerable with you. And it's not to say that they didn't do anything, but looking at things in the grand scheme of things, like, who do I think is more in the right? The person that is open and optimistic about a connection, or the person that is looking for problems, and when one comes up, you know, basically sticking to the way that they were in the beginning because they were expecting the problems to come. That kind of seems like your energy, where it's just like almost you're too on guard for this person to show you what you want them to. So the advice for you now, and the approach that you should take if you decide to listen to this, everybody has their own free will, but if you do decide to apologize, this is the advice for you. Surrender. Surrender. And isn't that funny? Because I said the King of Swords is kind of like a military-ish thing, and here they're telling you to fucking surrender. I was watching this reading the other day, and I was talking about how sometimes people, like, in olden times, like, when two captains, or whatever they're called, leaders of like armies, would go to war, sometimes they would get an immediate glimpse right in the beginning that something would go wrong, and like their whole army would end up dying, but they still say like charge anyways. And so Spirit is kind of like asking you, I think, to ask yourself if you are still kind of like in that mentality where it's like, you know, something that you're doing isn't going to work or isn't going to get a good response, but you still do it anyways. Spirit is asking for you to, you know, really be honest with yourself and ask yourself if that's the position that you have been in. But they're also telling you and giving you advice to surrender, because at times we must surrender to the old before something new can enter our lives. So let it go and it will all work out. So there is a part of me that feels like there was once a time where you did need to be more on the defense and like look very, very much into what people say to you and things like that. But this doesn't seem like the type of person that you would need to have that sort of defense with. I think more than anything, like, their feelings are very true, and it's just a matter of communicating what you need in a more vulnerable way, right? And so the next advice here is, you and your loved one are safe. New moon in Cancer. Yeah. Spirit is telling you that you can let your guard down with this person, that you can be comfortable with this person, that you can feel like this person could be like home to you. That is, they wouldn't send you someone at this point, that would make you continue to sit in that King of Swords energy. It's just not healthy for you. I'm feeling like it's not healthy for you to have to block off your heart so much. And then more advice. Okay, thank you. More advice. You're ready. Yeah, Spirit's telling you you're ready for this. Just let go. Know that you're safe. Know that you're protected. That's a big thing for you guys, I think, is feeling the need to protect yourself, preserve your integrity in your heart. But Spirit is saying that you don't have to do that because they're already going to do that for you. And it seems like you've already learned the lessons about what you need to watch out for, but also that you need to learn what you have been closing yourself off to as well. And finally, the last advice is to wait. Yeah, so don't make any sudden decisions. Like, don't write this person off immediately, or whatever, because there is something like around the corner coming that you should just try to get yourself to a point of being open to. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.